Chapter 1, Prologue. Before you dive into the pages that follow, a friendly heads up, this is a realm of pure fiction. Unless explicitly stated otherwise, all names, characters, businesses, places, and events in this book are a figment of my imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any semblance to real persons, whether alive or departed, or actual events is purely coincidental. That's all. So, buckle up for an odyssey of Lackey's life. In this world, opportunities sprawled across vast landscapes, awaiting those astute enough to seize them at the right time and right place. Those who grasped these chances emerged as the greatest individuals, carving their legacy in the history. Conversely, those who failed to capitalize on their opportunities often found themselves succumbing to societal expectations, relegated to criticizing and envying those who ascended. Yet, amid this dynamic interplay, there existed individuals who chose a different path. Steal others' opportunities. This insidious act was not confined to the realm of humans. It extended to every living being unburdened by guilt when it came to seizing the prospects of others. Just like that, in a world where magic was possible. In that world, even monsters lurked around in the shadows to grasp opportunities. In a certain place, Arfa. Run. Somebody hell. The cries of people echoed through the small village, a haunting symphony of fear and despair. Flames erupted everywhere as ugly monsters hunted their prey whenever the opportunity presented itself. Monsters who missed their opportunities began battling others to steal opportunities. All in all, everyone wanted an opportunity, whether to survive or whether to shine like a star. In the midst of turmoil, a child cowered in the shadows, desperately trying to protect someone. Huff! Huff! The child panted heavily, his eyes hazy, blood flowing from his head and covering his vision. The air around him filled with a sense of vulnerability and desperation as everyone struggled to endure the chaos. Thud! With a loud sound, something broke into the house. The child immediately held the person lying on the bed, driven by a fierce desire to protect whoever it was. Ggrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr also known as a goblin, slowly entered the house. But suddenly, boom! The monster was suddenly busted like a balloon. The child couldn't comprehend what happened. It was then he heard a voice. "Child?" The child was jolted, attempting to look at the person, but he couldn't clearly see who it was as his vision was already blurred by his blood. "Child, I can save everyone, including the person you are holding." As soon as the child heard those words, he muttered with hope, Really?" His voice a little patchy. "Yes. Tida. However, I need something." "I don't have any you." "You have, child. You do." The child, with his blurred vision, saw a big figure standing in front of him. "You do have something I truly need." "And my life?" the child asked with hesitation. However, feeling a trembling body in the bed, he asked, "If my life is enough, please say." "I don't want your life, child." Then, "What I want is your." Chapter 2. Finally, I got a job. Earth 2024. "Finally, I got a job," exclaimed a young man with black hair, his joyous proclamation cutting through the hustle and bustle of the busy street. Has he gone mad? Shouting like an idiot. Passers-by murmured and shot him strange glances, deliberately avoiding proximity. Yet, the black-haired young man paid no mind to the onlookers. His attention was solely on the piece of paper clutched tightly in his hands. /. Tears of joy streamed down his face. Finally, finally. He muttered the word repeatedly, laughter escaping him inaudibly. Just landing a job was his lifelong goal. Back in school, he wasn't the academic star or even an average student. Instead, he was like a bit of an oddball, an utter failure, struggling with every subject despite relentless day and night studying. No matter how hard he tried, attempting to cheat or studying honestly, success in exams seemed impossible. Concerned about his academic performance reaching a critical point, his parents made the tough decision not to invest more money in his education. At just 15, he found himself reluctantly dropping out of high school, closing the door on any dreams of college. Though disappointed, his parents, driven by a sense of familial duty, attempted to find something he was good at. Yet, every effort ended in disaster and their disappointment in him deepened. Initially, they guided him to work as a server in a friend's bakery, a suggestion he accepted without hesitation, because he felt he had no other choice. However, in the blink of an eye, he found himself unceremoniously ousted from the bakery. The disappointment in his parents' eyes escalated to sheer exasperation when they received the details from their friends. On the very first day, he clumsily shattered a set of utensils. The following day, customers took unexpected slips and slides, courtesy of his incomplete floor cleaning. What's more, he nearly got into a fight with a customer for reasons unknown. And just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, tasked with the seemingly straightforward job of cleaning the restroom to avoid their dwindling customer base, he not only broke the flush but also managed to clog the drain. Imagine this, the entire bakery was inundated with shits. My bakery store now smells like shit, and he was there, laughing like an idiot. This was what their friend, the owner of the bakery, shouted with deadly eyes. His parents, frustration boiling over, shouted and scolded him for what they perceived as utter uselessness. Still, as parents, they persevered, attempting to find other job opportunities for him. Thanks to understanding neighbors, he managed to secure a position as a delivery guy in a pizza shop. This time around, he very sincerely put in his very best effort, determined not to cause any more problems for his parents. Surprisingly, he successfully held onto the job for more than a week. However, as fate would have it, the following month brought a sudden end to his employment. Internal strife among the delivery staff erupted, and he became the target due to his refusal to join their payment hike strike. To make matters worse, they framed him as their strike leader. However, this wasn't the actual reason for his termination. Fueled by anger at being falsely accused, he lashed out violently inside the pizza shop, resulting in a severe altercation. Customers, witnessing the brutality, called the police, and he was promptly fired for his aggressive actions. Only with the support of his parents did he manage to navigate the legal consequences and emerge from prison with relatively few problems. This incident marked another setback in his turbulent journey, leaving him once again without a job. After that incident, his parents ceased recommending him for any further jobs. Even so, he persisted in his job search by his own way, managing to stay employed for longer durations than in previous positions. However, inevitably, after around 6 months, he found himself let go, often for reasons unbeknownst to him. 12 years slipped away, marked by a lack of permanent employment. By this time, his parents had already cast him out, concerned that his presence might disrupt the comfort of his younger brother. Currently, he resided in a rundown place where housing was more affordable, scraping by with the little money he could muster. Life was a constant yearning for more. A few days ago, he heard his younger brother had been working in a respected and popular company called Ugle. Swallowing his pride, he pleaded to his younger brother and, after persistent requests, managed to secure a job through his brother's recommendation. Ring ring. The phone's insistent ring pulled the black-haired young man from his thoughts. Wiping away the tears that had welled up, he retrieved an old-fashioned button-type phone and answered hesitantly. Hello? Did you get the job? Why yes, it's all thanks to you, brother. Yeah. I know you got the job. Why yes. Listen, shithead. I helped you because you begged me, not because of our brotherhood or anything. Do you get it? The black-haired man's lips trembled as he nodded, holding the phone but remaining silent. The other side just continued without waiting for a response. Anyway, hereafter, don't ever contact me or even my parents. They've totally forgotten about you and are living happily. I don't want you to disrupt their healthy life after all this time just because I helped you. Do you understand? Why yes, I won't, the black-haired man said with a small smile. Good. Then all the best, Mr. Security Guard. Why yes, sir, and thank. The black-haired man was about to respond, but it seemed the other party had already cut the call. Staring at the phone, he slipped it into his worn-out black pants. As he started walking with heavy steps, He hid his trembling eyes, determined not to let the tears spill over. Step. No anger lingered towards his younger brother or his parents. Deep down, he knew he deserved the label of being called useless. Not able to break the shackles and to create his own path and be controlled by his father till now. He was truly useless. If he had heard those words 8 years ago, he might have punched his brother's face and made sure he regretted ever saying them. However, after being berated with disgusting and disparaging words by society, he felt his little brother was better off. Society changes everything and everyone. Ring, ring. The jarring sound jolted him from his thoughts. Retrieving his phone, a gentle smile adorned his face. Yo, man, did you get the job? Hearing the infectious cheer in the voice, the black-haired man masking his face responded with an equal measure of enthusiasm. Yo, man, I finally got the fucking job, he declared happily, a smirk playing on his lips. And nanny, fucking job. I am also coming. Wait there. I want that job. Let me sign up for that. Sigh, you damn fucking idiotic baka. It's just a security job, the black-haired man sighed, a mixture of exasperation and amusement. In that moment, he couldn't help but smile at the thought of his overly enthusiastic, horny otaku friend. In his high school days, he wasn't alone, he had 2 friends. Even though he dropped out, his friends still maintained his contact. His friends were different from him. What set them apart was their dreams and the passion that fueled those aspirations. One friend was a budding novel writer, fueled by the desire to craft entire worlds and captivating journeys for readers to immerse themselves in. He achieved his goals. His dreams materialized and he found resounding success, now employed at the prestigious novel company Zebmoval. The other friend, a damn otaku, harbored a fervent wish to create entirely new gaming experiences for people like himself. His unwavering determination paid off and he achieved his goal, currently working at the renowned gaming company FlyStation. As he reflected on their paths, the black-haired guy couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. Pride for his friend's achievements, a tinge of envy. Unlike him, they had clear ambitions propelling them toward fulfilling lives, stirring a sense of longing within him. Oh, a security job? The black-haired man snapped out of his thoughts upon hearing that and replied, Yes, a security job, with a smile. You know, we could get you better, Jaya. No, I don't want my only friends to hate. The black-haired man immediately refused. The thought of relying on his friends for a better job crossed his mind, but he dismissed it. He was well aware that any trouble he caused in a better position would reflect negatively on his friends. Just like him, they had faced their share of struggles and he didn't want to be the reason for any disruption in their successful lives. And also his father might cause something regrettable. The black-haired man wasn't heartless. He understood the value of his friend's hard-earned success. Sigh, still the same. The black-haired man just smiled, offering no verbal response. Anyhow, you finally got a permanent job. It's time to party. I will call that other closet writer. Well, I don't have a. I will pay, you idiot. Hee. The black-haired man chuckled. As he stood in front of the crossing lane, watching the vehicles pass by, his emotions were a complex interplay of various feelings. Have you heard about her engagement? The black-haired man's body flinched for a second before his gaze fixated on the red light. No, he muttered. The silence lingered for a few moments, both men feeling a palpable awkwardness. His friend, sensing the discomfort, decided to change the subject. You know, I got hit by a 3D girl. What? Are you sure it's a girl? It's not a trap, right? The black-haired man replied with genuine surprise, his curiosity piqued. Jerk. She has big tits and a lean body. You know, it's really big. She is definitely a girl. A hint of annoyance carried in the voice. Oh? Interesting. Who is that unlucky girl? The black-haired man raised his eyebrows in shock, intrigued by the unfolding narrative. TSK. She should be lucky enough to have me, you single jerk. The black-haired man's lips twitched, a mix of amusement and disbelief crossing his face. He was about to reply when... Honk! Honk! A deafening honking sound reverberated through the air. and the black-haired man saw a big white milk truck hurtling towards him, seemingly out of control. Everything seemed to slow down in the black-haired man's eyes. Am I going to die? Heh, he thought, a rush of fear and uncertainty coursing through him. In a split second, thud. SSHHHKKKKKKKKK. The white milk truck's tires screeched as it collided with the wall of the building, finally coming to a halt. Its entire front side was now covered with a vivid crimson color, a shocking and surreal sight that left the onlookers momentarily frozen in disbelief. Shit! The driver of the truck emerged unscathed, stepping out with a mix of disbelief and relief. Chapter 3, woo. Where am I? The black-haired man muttered. The black-haired man slowly opened his eyes, his gaze fixed on a sky-blue ceiling. He couldn't feel his body, as if devoid of any sensation. Seeing a new environment and a strong sense of liberation, he thought with an amusing smile, did I get transmigrated like in the novels? Though he felt something wrong about his transmigration because, you were still alive, young man, a voice reassured him. As he turned his head, he found himself still in the same place. Something caught his attention behind him. A brown-haired, middle-aged man holding the back of his collar as if he had yanked him out of harm's way just in time. Rising to his feet, the black-haired man expressed gratitude, "Forgive me, sir, and thanks for helping me." The brown-haired, middle-aged man patted down his clothes as he stood up. "It's all right, young man. Please stay alert. Nowadays, there have been many truck accidents," he advised, giving the black-haired man a reassuring pat before swiftly leaving the scene. The black-haired man looked at the brown-haired man with a profound sense of gratitude. Turning his attention to the truck, he observed that it had hit a dog. The sight made him sigh with relief, knowing it could have been him under those tires. Inwardly thanking the man who pulled him from the brink of danger, the black-haired man couldn't shake the lingering feeling of escaping death. The mere thought of being crushed under the truck sent shivers down his spine. He wiped the beads of sweat from his face, the intensity of the ordeal etched on his features. But damn, did I really just think I transmigrated? Shit. Chinibu, he thought, feeling awkward. The idea of being transported into an anime world seemed absurd, and he chided himself for letting his imagination run wild. He pondered over the fact that he needed to decrease his intake of these fantastical anime stories. Despite being an adult and a responsible member of society, he couldn't resist watching and reading them. TSK, this is all thanks to those idiots, he complained about his friends. Talking about a friend. Aether. Hearing his name being shouted with urgency, Aether looked down at his right hand, still tightly gripping the phone as if his body automatically gripped it. Yo, Aether answered with a carefree attitude. What the fuck happened? I heard lots of noise. It's fine, just a truck that was about to hit me, but someone saved me, Aether said in relief, glancing at the driver who was being scolded by the onlookers. You didn't get hurt, right? I'm totally fine, Aether replied, a smile breaking through as he felt the genuine concern in his friend's voice. However, the conversation took an unexpected turn. Sigh, anyhow, you said truck, right? Yes. Damn, man. You just missed the straight ticket to iSky. TSK. Nowadays, Truck-Kuin is not doing his job correctly. TSK. Tisk. Aether's eyes twitched in annoyance, fully aware of the reference due to his friend's insistence on watching and playing those unnecessary things. He cannot possibly say he also thought that, shit. GGGRLL. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness washed over him, and his empty stomach grumbled in protest due to the lack of breakfast. You bastard, if I die, I will definitely come back to haunt you as a ghost, Aether said with mock seriousness, pushing aside the gnawing hunger because he doesn't have much money to waste on a restaurant. Ha 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 ha. I'd like to see, but if you were a girl, I'd like to see more, you know what I mean, right? You horny dog. Aether exclaimed, a mix of exasperation and disbelief in his voice as he walked away from the incident. Ha 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 ha. As Aether distanced himself, a sudden haze blurred his vision and his stomach grumbled loudly. GGRRRRRRLLLL. Anyhow, I'll let the other bastard know we are having a party at my house today. GGRRRWWWWWWLLLLL. Shit, it seems I have to eat, otherwise I will really die. Aether thought, feeling the hunger. With a sense of urgency, he decided to look for a more affordable fast food option. It was then. Thud. He suddenly collapsed to the ground. Huh! He felt his eyesight slowly disappearing, his lower body going numb. He attempted to move, but his body seemed to have lost all strength. Then, he felt something. A chill sensation ran down his back, prompting him to move his trembling hand to touch it. A shiver coursed through his body as he realized there was something gushing out from a small cut on his spine. With hazy eyes, he looked at his hands and saw a crimson color staining his trembling fingers. That was the only thought that came to his mind. He-heh. A strange, eerie laughter echoed from his mouth as tears poured from his eyes uncontrollably. He. Haha LP. Haha me. Aether tried to ask for help, but the people around him stood away, treating him as if he were a maniac laughing while fully drenched in blood. The platform around his body was covered in crimson, yet no one came to his aid. Hey, is he manic? Why is he laughing in this situation? Maybe this is just a prank? Yeah, just a prank, making us call the ambulance. And in the end, he is going to say, it was all a prank. Yes, fuck these shitters. People around him took out their smartphones, recording his laughing face as they complained about the heartless society, all the while he was drenched in blood. Win, now, ha, fuckers. Hee. Help hee. Aether shouted, unable to comprehend their mutterings. However, no one came to his aid even after his desperate cries for help. Come on, do you think we fall for the trick? Haha. Yes, look at his face, he must be mocking us inside. Damn man, you're really going too far with a prank. Hey, I think he is real. Just how many blood packets he brought. Look at the ground, it's spreading everywhere. From the people's perspective, it seemed like he was laughing at them with a mocking expression, though it was far from the truth. Feeling no one coming to his aid, the black-haired man glanced at his phone and noticed it was still on the call. His friend was shouting at him over the phone, but he couldn't hear properly. Unable to comprehend what his friend was saying, with a hoarse voice, Aether spoke. Hey Alan, cough, please destroy my phone, cough, and erase my Zoogle every account, history, cough. Even if his phone was just a basic model, it still supported 4G, MP4, etc. Even if its display was low quality. Even if it looked like a censored version. Everything was fine, right? Even if he were to die, he wanted to die with dignity. Just about to lose consciousness, someone in the crowd shouted, Hey, he is seriously bleeding. What? Really? You fucking maniacs. How could you stand there and take videos? What are you talking about? Look at him, you idiots. Wait. Look at him, no matter how you loo. As someone was about to help him. Wee woo. The loud sound of a siren made Aether pull back his consciousness. Immediately, an ambulance arrived at the spot and they took Aether and set off. Leaving the people who were dumbfounded, they truly believed he was just pranking them. Come on, people, how could you just watch him like that? A sensible person asked with mild anger. Hey, he was laughing. Why yes, he was just laughing. Who would laugh when they were about to die? I still think he was just pranking us. Yes, who called the ambulance? I think it was also set up. Who? No one? Ha, then it must be his crew members. They failed to prank us, so they immediately took him out before we reported him to the police. Yes, it's possible. Yeah, I know, right? He was laughing like a maniac and with his body drenched in blood. It almost scared the hell out of me. People around the blood-drenched place chattered about this prank. Their voices were a mix of confusion, skepticism, and lingering unease. Wee woo. Inside the ambulance, the stark white walls accentuated Aether's shock-stricken face as his gaze locked with the same brown-haired middle-aged man, wearing an unsettlingly amusing smile. The middle-aged man then retrieved a document and began to read aloud. Name, Aether. Gender, male. Age, 27. Occupation, none. Marital status, single. Blood type, Rh null. Medical conditions, PBA, pseudobulbar effect, infertile. Physical appearance. Height, 6 feet. Weight, 170 pounds. Hair color, jet black. Eye color, deep blue. Distinguishing features, small scar on the left cheek. Slash. Tucking the document away, the brown-haired man proceeded to examine Aether's eyes with a torch. After a few minutes, he nonchalantly remarked, "Looks like I stabbed you correctly, only your lower body is paralyzed, nothing severe." The clinical way in which he spoke belied the horrific circumstances Aether found himself in. Aether, lacking the strength to inquire. He only wanted to know why. As if sensing Aether's unspoken questions, the brown-haired man divulged the grim reality. "I am sorry, young man. We are organ traffickers. We have been following you for the past few months. We have a client who is looking for some body parts with rare Rh-null blood, and you are the easiest target compared to others who have families around them." The middle-aged man's words hung in the air, each syllable intensifying the ominous atmosphere within the ambulance. He continued his explanation, all while methodically donning white gloves. Aether wasn't sure what he heard because his mind was going blank. He only caught a few words. "But really, boy, if I had been a little late, you would have been knocked out by the truck and wasted our money and time," the middle-aged man muttered, as if saying today was the day they prepared to finish him. The removal of Aether's clothing, leaving him in his underwear, felt like a dehumanizing violation. "Infertile, the man muttered as his eyes lingered on Aether's crotch area. "I guess we don't need the part," he mumbled inwardly and looked at Aether's face. "You really had a bad life." He said when he saw Aether's still smiling face, as a small light chuckle leaked from his mouth. "They say having a smile means a blessing, but for you it was anything but a blessing." The middle-aged man muttered, his voice tinged with a mixture of bitterness and nostalgia. Memories flooded back, vivid images of how people recoiled when Aether was drenched in blood. He sighed, shaking off the haunting recollections, a weariness etched into the lines on his face. He wasn't in this line of work for the thrill or the sadistic pleasure of witnessing others' torment. Just like any other ordinary person, he yearned for a simple life, to provide for his family, to watch his children grow. Yet he had chosen the wrong path, a decision that weighed heavily on his conscience. The gnawing guilt, however, was overshadowed by the stark reality that survival often required compromises. Who cared about the moral high ground when the only goal was to endure another day? See this man, Aether, who could have done many more things if he wasn't a law-abiding man. The middle-aged man felt pity for Aether after reading his documents. He had specifically chosen Aether, aware that the world wouldn't mourn for a person like him. Though Aether had some friends, they were inconspicuous figures akin to low flies, and they had families. So if they trying to pry more, a simple threat would be enough to keep them at bay. "Boss!" A sudden shout pierced the air as someone opened a small window from the driver's seat. "What is it, boss?" the middle-aged man inquired. "Which hospital should we go to?" Boss's lips twitched, a subtle sign of irritation, but he composed himself and instructed. "Take the next right, then turn third left. After around 1 kilometer, you'll see Duck Hospital." "Huh? I know the hospital." "You could have told me the hospital's name instead of telling me the route," the other party retorted before closing the window. Veins popped on Boss's forehead in frustration. He had been mentioning the hospital's name every time, yet this bastard forgot like a retard. "Arg," he sighed, calming his nerves. Boss then turned his attention to Aether, who had already closed his eyes, his heart still beating despite the apparent stillness. Chapter 4. Laugh. Aether's POV. "Why me?" I thought, the weight of despair settling in my chest like a heavy stone. "Because I don't have anyone." I wondered, my mind aching with the echoes of loneliness. I pondered when everything went wrong. My thoughts became a swirling storm, and my mind started to get fuzzy. Is this what death feels like? I began to recollect the memories, each recollection a painful stab to my heart. I was born as an unwanted child between 2 famous celebrities. I want to live. Whether I was cursed or not, the moment I turned 3, they divorced and walked away from each other. For the sake of upholding their public image, or perhaps due to legal obligations, they took turns caring for me, splitting the responsibility every 6 months. I found myself tossed back and forth between their lives. My only longing was for love, yet what they offered was a mere substitution. Money wrapped in the guise of affection. At a certain juncture, my father remarried, and as a result, my mother assumed permanent custody of me. It brought a genuine sense of happiness as I believed I had finally found a stable and enduring home. Despite the knowledge that she might not harbor deep affection for me, I clung to the hope that through unwavering performance and discipline, I could earn her acknowledgement and acceptance. I thought just like any other child wants. I want to live. However, reality proved to be cruel. Before long, she entered another marriage. As a woman navigating societal expectations, she felt compelled to maintain a particular image. In this facade, she used me, portraying herself as making a sacrifice for my sake, all to avoid loneliness without a father figure. Regrettably, the man she married never uttered a single word to me. His gaze treated me as if I were a contagious disease, a pariah. The situation worsened when my mother, carrying his child, gave birth to my younger brother. To tell the truth, I was genuinely thrilled to have a younger sibling. Anticipation bubbled within me. I wanted to play with him. I wanted to show him what it means to be a good big brother. I want to live. I wanted to give him piggyback rides, take him to amusement parks, feed him with a small spoon, and shower him with endless love unlike me. However, the moment he entered this world, my mother uttered words that shattered something inside me. My child is going to become the greatest person in the world. Her words were accompanied by a lovely and joyful smile, one I had never seen until that day. A smile I longed for. She was showing now. But not for me, And soon everything within our home shifted. My mother, who had at least listened to my words before, began treating me like a true plague, more akin to a leech. From that day forward, my life took a drastic turn. I was forbidden from playing with him. I wasn't allowed to go out of my room until they called me. I was only allowed to see him or even see my family when they called me for dinner. The dinner table became a place of confusion and frustration as I struggled to comprehend why they incessantly compared me to my brother. Even then, I had to wear gloves, a puzzling restriction I couldn't grasp till now. To add to my distress, my brother effortlessly excelled in every aspect, outshining me at every turn. I found myself constantly overshadowed by my brother. Despite my earnest desire to reach his heights, no matter how hard I tried, he consistently outperformed me. Whether it was studies, athletics, extracurricular activities, or talents like acting and singing, he excelled in each domain. I finally acknowledged he was better than me. Yeah, way better than me. Still, as a big brother, I never envied him. I want to live. At a certain point, my mother seemed to completely forget my existence. Desperate for her love, I resorted to an idiotic plan. A single regret that would alter the course of my life. A regret I still had. In an attempt to draw her attention, I rebelled against them. I cut classes and neglected my studies, allowing my grades to plummet to the bottom despite previously maintaining a middle-level performance. I turned a blind eye to everything around me. I adopted an I-don't-care attitude and delved into the delinquent lifestyle. Engaging in skirmishes with school delinquents and eventually ascending to the role of their leader, I found myself standing up against those who harassed women and elderly individuals, earning a somewhat reluctant reputation as a defender of justice among the delinquent circles. It was during this period that I formed an unexpected friendship with two idiots who were being bullied by some thugs. In a way, I am a good delinquent, I guess? Eventually, my efforts yielded results, but not in the way I had hoped. My parents instructed me to drop out. Yes, they literally asked me to drop out instead of discussing the problem. It was then everything went broke for me. Despite my mother being an actress and my second father was a powerful businessman and politician, they put me in a bakery workshop. Truly laughable, but neither media that now focused on my brother nor my first father, who was a famous actor, paid any heed. Yes, I visit my first father sometimes, not for the money but for some love, and yet, much like my mother, he avoided me. When I could no longer bear it, I confronted my mother, seeking an explanation for the lack of love. The answer she provided was bitterly laughable. A defective product that only knows how to laugh. It was utterly devoid of emotions, as if she didn't even consider me human. It was then I finally understood why. Because I am a defective product that laughs at others' pain. What cursed body I born with? I had been born with this disease they called. I smile, laugh, always, anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter what others' problems are and what others are going through in their life. I wouldn't be able to show sadness for them. Even I couldn't able to show my own pain and sadness to others. What a cruel disease, ah. What the fuck? This was the fucking body you guys gave me. I wasn't the one who wanted this fucking body. I wasn't the one who asked you to give birth to me. Do you think I wanted to be like this? I want to live. I can't even cry in the wretched world. No matter what I tried, all I could do was laugh and laugh. Laugh at others' pain. Laugh at others' sadness. Laugh at others' failure. Laugh at my friend's life. Laugh at my friend's struggle. Laugh at my cat's death. Laugh, 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 laugh. All I knew was just a fucking laugh. In the end, I laughed at my own sadness. Why? Why should I suffer for your mistakes? So you guys didn't want a defective child in order to maintain your prestige. A groan escaped me as a sharp pain stabbed my chest. I supposed this was the end. My life until then had been controlled by my second father, who used his power to make me submit to my brother. Just a few days before, I had received a call from my second father stating he had a job for me. It was a job as a security guard. Hee. I couldn't help but laugh when I heard the job details. What's more, it was under my brother's company. Even though my second father had a big company and was a politician, my brother had joined another company. I wondered why. I want to live. Was he one of those guys who wanted to shine but not under their father's shadow? What fuckers? They didn't know what kind of opportunities they had. And my second father. No, that bastard who wrecked my life. I always wondered why, no matter what, I was the one who lost a job even in a simple matter. Why didn't you put a margin on this data? Because of this, we lost $1 million project. You were fired. That's what my lost boss said. Seriously, my last job really tried hard to find a reason to fire me. $1 million? That company can't even be worth $1,000 project. Anyhow, after receiving the call, I understood. I fucking understood that bastard wrecked my life. I felt my consciousness fading away. Until the very last moment, I couldn't even control my own death, truly useless. Let's take a rest. I've had enough of this nonsense. I want to live. What the fuck is wrong with you? You want to live? No, me. I want to live. I want to live, For what? Just to live this unwanted crap again. What's wrong with me? I want to die, that's all. But I also want to live. Just sigh. I find myself without a clear path to move forward since she left me. She was light in my darkness. Yet, this body was the reason she left me. Really a defective product. What's the point of living any longer? I wondered what kind of man she was going to marry. She was a wonderful woman, and having her as a wife would have been a blessing. My body feels lighter. It's a strange sensation, but feels really good. But I don't want to die. I cried. I don't want to die like this. Please. I don't want to end my life here. I want to see her again. I want to have a happy family. I want to punch that bastard face that ruined my entire life. I want to I guess there was no point in being stubborn. This was not an anime, where God would be awed by the resilience and chose me. I truly corrupted. But hey, sometimes I wish this was just like an anime where the main character gets stronger by staying resilient. A little hope. I feel a little sleepy, Let's sleep. But before I sleep, I have to at least punch this man who took my life, otherwise I would feel like shit now. I tried to clench my fist, but I couldn't